Hey guys, Kyle Coggins here to give you a spoiler-free review of Spider-Man Homecoming. Before we start the review, people that know me know my love for Spider-Man. Spider-Man has always been my favorite character, and let's go into a quick Peter Parker cam here. As you see, Spider-Man's just been everything to me. I've been reading Spider-Man comics and collecting stuff from different cons and things like that for a while now, and he's plays a major role in my life, just with the things that he did in his upbringing and how he gets through life, how he juggles things, being in school, being a kid, even when he starts college and all that stuff. So I mean, he's a very admirable superhero. But the film, Homecoming, is about exactly what I just said. It's about Peter Parker juggling, being 15 years old, being in school, all the things that he does with school, all the extracurricular activities, being Spider-Man, and he's so hungry for more. He wants to be a part of the Avengers, and he's trying to do so much to impress Tony Stark. And that's what the movie's about. Just to start off, this movie, I really love this movie. This movie is great. It's a great entry level movie, like a level 1. It's not an origin movie because they reference obviously him getting bit by a spider, and they reference all the stuff from his origin, but it's not an origin movie. But it's still a level 1 entry because he's 15 years old. I believe he's a sophomore in high school. And the movie's just a fun ride. It's a super fun ride. I was never bored in this movie. It has, to me, probably because of the director, but it has a Ferris Bueller's Day Off type of feel to it. Like, it's a coming of age type movie, and I really got that Ferris Bueller's Day Off feel to it. And it's funny because I'm watching the movie and I'm like, wow, this feels like Ferris Bueller's Day Off. And then there's a reference to Ferris Bueller, which is not a spoiler, but it's a reference to Ferris Bueller, which I thought was pretty cool at the time of which I said that in my head. I love Tom Holland's Spider-Man. I love Tom Holland's Peter Parker. I thought he did a good job at not necessarily separating the two, but trying to find a personality for Spider-Man, so to speak. But I thought that was cool. I think Tom Holland does a great job at being a 15-year-old. You believe that he's this young high school kid, like just in simple things, like things in the trailer when he's talking about how he wants to do more and how Tony Stark treats him like a kid, and when he's saying that he's jumping on the bed, like, kids do that stuff, so I thought he did a great job being a 15-year-old kid. He shows so much heart in the movie. There's one specific scene that I can think of. If you saw the movie, you probably know what scene I'm talking about. Like, that scene gets you so, man, like you're pushing for him. Like, come on, like, you got this. Like, you got this. Don't give up. Like, and you kind of you sink yourself into this 15-year-old kid. Like you really feel this kid is 15. I thought he did a great job at doing that and obeying by his moral compass. I thought Michael Keaton was great. I've never liked the Vulture in the comics. Vulture is such a stupid villain to me. I can't stand him. But I thought Michael Keaton did a phenomenal job. Like, he went into this and said, this is going to be a breeze. Like, I thought he did a great job. And he's terrifying at moments. And it's hard to imagine the Vulture being terrifying. But Michael Keaton was the perfect actor to bring this character. And I thought the director did a great job with his shots of Michael Keaton in these terrifying moments. Those close-ups to his face, and you believe, like, this guy he's menacing, but my opinion, he's not a bad guy. Like, when you understand his motivations, and when he's talking to Peter and basically Spider-Man. He's talking to Spider-Man and asking him, how do you think Tony Stark made his fortune? Like, you start to think about it and you're like, wow, he's really not your villain. He's not Loki. He's not the Dark Elf. He's not that type of villain. So, and I think the best villains are the ones that you understand their motivations. You get it. And you kind of ride that line of like, yeah, he's doing bad things, but I get it. And I think those are the best villains. Tony Stark's involvement in this movie, you know, for anybody that was worrying, myself, this is not Iron Man 4. Like, I thought Tony's involvement was perfect, his screen time and all the things that he did. I loved how they incorporated the first Avengers and obviously Civil War, because Spidey was in Civil War. I love how they did that. There's this scene, I'm going to just call it the warehouse scene, and I thought that sequence was great. Like, I had a lot of fun during that sequence, and it's just, like, that's Spider-Man. Like, that's Spider-Man, dude. And just Spidey, he never shuts up. So, like, I appreciated that sequence in that warehouse. Whenever you see it, or if you have seen it. I liked Spider-Man's movements. One thing I did really enjoy about The Amazing Spider-Man 2 was the way Spidey used his web and climbed his web and his movements. I thought Spidey's movements were different from The Amazing Spider-Man 2, but they're still swift. The way he glides and shoots his web and does all that stuff, I thought they did a great job at that. I loved his web shooters and the combinations that they came with, and it reminded me of the video games and how the games had different combinations with the web bombs and all the different stuff. And I thought they did a great job. The movie did a great job at not making that overpower that concept of all these different combinations overpower anything like him being Spider-Man, and like you're only focused on that. I think they did a good job of comedic elements with it and making you understand. Not really sure how to explain that well, but hopefully you get my drift. I love that this wasn't a huge film. It wasn't this big story, this world-ending thing. Like, it was very, very contained. And I really enjoyed that, especially for a 15-year-old kid. Like, it felt to me, it felt like Spider-Man is on the same level as the Netflix characters. But he's so big in just modern culture and social society that they can't make a Netflix series out of it. They have to make a movie out of it, like a business choice. But I've always thought Spider-Man was the best villain to have a TV show. But yeah, he just feels like on that street level, and I love how they took that concept and made a film out of it, and I thought it worked great. There's a plot twist in this movie that I thought was phenomenal. Did not see it coming. Completely took me off guard. And that I'm going to leave it just as that. Some of the dislikes, not all movies are perfect. I mean, everybody knows that. Some of the dislikes I had with the movie, the CGI in places. Like, the suit, like when I really look at the suit, it looks like it's Velcro, kind of. And it looks... You know when you overwash cotton and it has those cotton balls? Like, that's what it looks like. It looks like an overused sweater at times, like on close-ups. And I like the design of the suit, but I don't like how it's just super fine edged. And I mean, as the movies go on, I'm pretty sure he's gonna have different suits and stuff like that. But you know, I love the Amazing Spider-Man 2 suit so much, and actually. I don't have it here, but I have something that kind of resembles that suit. But I love that suit so much. But and in this movie, I preferred when Peter was in his old suit, the one from Civil War with the boogly eyes, and it looks like a hoodie. I enjoyed that suit a lot, and I wish we kind of had more screen time with that suit over the Tony Stark suit. And also with the CGI, it just looked fake at times. There's specific scenes that I remember where I'm like, wow, they could have spent a lot more time making that look a little bit more real. I feel like the third act, not necessarily the whole third act at all, but like there's just the sequence with Spidey and Vulture in the end of that third act. I thought that struggled. I thought it was a little weak when it comes to action, but I mean, it is what it is. One I can't say it's a dislike, and I'm not gonna go into spoilers, so I'm gonna keep this very limited. But there's comic book Spidey characteristics that bothered me. For instance, he doesn't wear glasses. You see that in the trailers, pictures. He doesn't wear glasses. That's what I mean by Spider-Man comic book characteristics. Things like that bothered me, but I have to remind myself this is a whole new Spider-Man. They have to get away from Spider-Man 1 through 3. They have to get away from the Amazing Spider-Man 1 and 2. And Marvel is kind of on a time crunch. So I thought they did a great job at basically leaving that door open, kind of, that, hey, there's new comings, there's new things coming, he could have new abilities and things like that. So the characteristics kind of bother me, but not really, because I'm so hopeful, and that they leave that door so wide open that all these things can come. Not necessarily the glasses, but all these things can come. And maybe the glasses too, because of his whole vision thing with his boogly goggles and stuff like that. So I mean, the door's wide open, and I'm pretty sure Marvel could spin it. My last thoughts. I really love this movie. Like, this is a really good movie, especially a number one, because it sets up. They could go so many places in number two, and I feel like number two, they could get. This wasn't an origin movie, but it's kind of origin-esque, to where they have to reintroduce you to the character and kind of build you back up. And I feel like this is going to take the same method as the Captain America movies took, where the first Avenger it was a good movie, and they had to set that character up and do certain things, specific things they had to do in that movie. And then Winter Soldier just blew your socks off. Winter Soldier is still my number 2 favorite comic movie of all time, right under The Dark Knight. And I feel like Homecoming 2, or whatever they call it, because it's not going to be Homecoming 2, but whatever they call it, I think is going to blow our socks off. And this is really, like, I feel so hopeful walking out of this movie that, wow, this next movie is probably going to be bonkers. And I feel like, just like Civil War was Captain America's third with all these people, I feel like Homecoming does a great job at when they do a third, or if Marvel can get to that third movie, because they're on a 5-contract deal with Sony for the 2 Avengers, his Civil War appearance, it's Homecoming, and then the sequel. So hopefully they revamp that, and that third one is going to be a Civil War-esque, and you will see that when you see Homecoming. Hopefully you get the Easter eggs and you understand where that third one could lead to. There's so many Easter eggs, and they have some Spider-Man 1 references that were cool. And so I'm thinking of doing a spoiler review, because I feel like people that don't know Spider-Man may not understand a lot of things that were done, and things that will probably be set up, and just different plot things that they just stuck in there. So I might do a spoiler review, because I love Spider-Man so much, man. I love this character. But I'm super excited for where this is going. I'm so hopeful, and Marvel's wasting no time. They're moving. They're going. We probably have this character for a little bit of time, so we're moving forward. Let's do this right now. All in all, I would give the movie, I'd probably give it an 8.5 out of 10. And that's saying a lot. I think this was a really great made movie. And I kind of changed my scaling a bit, so I think 8.5 is pretty high on my new little rating scale thing. Ratings are really hard to dictate, but I love this movie. 8.5, solid. Go see it. I'm about to check it out again sometime this week, probably on Monday. But I appreciate you guys. Like, comment, subscribe. Thank you guys for watching.